Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are in a pink of health. It's really great to interact with you people through this online platform. And it always brings smile over my face whenever, I come up to interact with you people. So my dear friends, you are quite aware about the fact that we are dealing with biomolecules. So today I have come up with a topic which is open chain structure of glucose. So let us discuss about it. First of all, this open chain structure of glucose, it was provided by Bayer. So this structure was proposed by Bayer. Okay. Second thing, it contains one aldehyde group. That means in this open chain structure of glucose molecule, you have one aldehyde group. That means one aldehyde is there. Then you have four secondary OH groups. And everybody should know that OH groups are also known as alcoholic groups, you can say. You can also call them as hydroxyl groups. So we have one aldehyde group in open chain structure of glucose. We have four secondary OH groups which are alcoholic groups. And my dear friends, we have one primary OH group, and obviously this OH group is nothing but, again I will write down, this is alcoholic group, or you can say hydroxyl group. So our open chain structure of glucose, which was proposed by Bayer, it has one aldehyde group, it has four secondary OH groups, and it has one primary OH group. Okay, I hope you have understood. Let me define it for you people. Let me show you one structure here. Try to focus it here at this point. Okay, so let's get started. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally this is the sixth one. Have a look. I told you last time our glucose molecule, if I talk about the glucose molecule, what happens? This is the first carbon, which is aldehyde. I told you that it has aldehyde group, so this is aldehyde. Now what is the second point? This is our second carbon, third carbon, fourth, fifth, and this guy is the sixth one. So this is CH2OH. Let me mention these places with carbon here. You have a carbon here, carbon, carbon, and carbon. I also told you that on third carbon of the glucose molecule, you have OH group on left side, and rest of the carbons will have OH group on right side. That is second carbon, fourth carbon, and fifth carbon, and rest of the valencies are satisfied by hydrogen. What I told you, in open chain structure of glucose, you have one aldehyde group, so you have one aldehyde group here. CHO is aldehyde group. Then you have four secondary OH groups. Four secondary OH groups. Look at this OH group. This OH group and this OH group, if you see this OH group, it is attached to the carbon. Which carbon is attached? Second carbon. And that second carbon is directly attached to two other carbons. It's attached to first carbon and third carbon. So this OH group is known as secondary OH group or secondary alcoholic group. Why? Because it's attached to that carbon which is attached directly to two other carbons. So when your OH group is present on that carbon which is directly attached to two other carbon atoms, we call it as secondary OH group. So this guy is this is 2-0 means secondary alcoholic group. Now look at here. This OH group is attached to carbon number 3rd, and that carbon number 3rd is attached to carbon 2nd and carbon 4, which means this carbon is nothing but it's a secondary carbon. And when OH group is present on secondary carbon, it is known as secondary OH group. So this is again here secondary alcoholic group. So this is your secondary carbon, this is also your secondary carbon. Let's have a look here. Again the same thing. If you look here, this carbon is also attached to two other carbon atoms directly. It's attached directly to 3rd carbon and directly to 5th carbon. So this carbon becomes secondary carbon once again. And OH group on secondary carbon is known as secondary OH. So this will be again called as secondary OH or secondary alcoholic. Now look at the 5th carbon. 5th carbon is attached directly to 4th carbon and 6th carbon, which means the 5th carbon is also the secondary carbon, because any carbon which is directly attached to two other carbons, directly attached to two other carbons, is known as secondary carbon. So this 5th carbon is also secondary carbon, and the OH group present on secondary carbon is known as secondary alcoholic group or secondary OH group. So this is secondary alcoholic group. Alcoholic group. So now look here, how many secondary alcoholic groups I have? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I have 4 secondary OH groups. 4 secondary OH groups. OH groups means alcoholic groups. Now let us look at the 6th carbon here. This 6th carbon is attached only to 5th carbon. That means this 6th carbon is directly attached to only one carbon, which is 5th carbon. When any carbon is directly attached to only one carbon, we call it as primary carbon. So this carbon is primary carbon. And on this primary carbon we have OH group. And when you have a OH group on primary carbon, and primary carbon is attached to only one other carbon directly, so this alcoholic group, OH group, will be known as primary alcoholic group. So it will be primary alcoholic group. So my dear friends, we have here one primary alcoholic group, OH group. We have an aldehyde. Then second carbon is attached to two other carbons, attached to first carbon and third carbon, so it's a secondary carbon. Third carbon is attached to second and fourth, so it's also secondary carbon. Fourth carbon is also secondary carbon because it's attached to third and fifth. Fifth is also the secondary carbon because it's attached to fourth and sixth. And the OH groups present on secondary carbon, this is also secondary carbon, secondary carbon, secondary carbon, so all are called as secondary alcohols. And the OH group present on 6th carbon, which is a primary carbon, is known as primary alcoholic group. I hope you have understood this term. From here to here, you have understood. Now your glucose molecule has one aldehyde group, 4 secondary OH groups, and 1 primary OH group. Correct? Now let's look further. Now you may be thinking that how the open chain structure was given or proposed by the buyer. What are the evidences through which we found the structure of glucose? So we need to discuss about the evidences of the open chain structure of glucose, which prove that the glucose has a particular structure. And those evidences are, have a look, the structure was assigned on the basis of following evidences. And what are those evidences? First of all, molecular formula of glucose we should know. Second thing, presence of aldehyde group. Okay. The third evidence we should find out is presence of one primary OH group in glucose. And the fourth one, we'll talk about that glucose has a straight chain. Okay, and the last one we'll talk about the presence of 5 secondary OH groups in a glucose. So every point we have to determine. First of all, we have to determine the molecular formula of glucose. Then we should determine the aldehyde group in glucose molecule. Then we should determine the primary OH group. Then we should find out that glucose is a straight chain. And finally we should find out that glucose has actually, I will mention here, it's not 5 here. It is basically 4 secondary OH groups. But when we talk of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, that means it will have 5, I'll mention like this, the presence of 5 OH groups. Because if I mention 5 secondary OH groups, it will be wrong. Because it has only 4 secondary OH groups. And then what I have to mention is that if I want to mention OH groups all together, 4 are secondary and 1 is primary, then I will mention the presence of 4 secondary OH groups and 1 primary. Okay? But what did I mention here? Presence of 5 OH groups, which means 4 will be secondary and 1 will be primary OH group. That means I will talk about all the OH groups, secondary and primary in this last case. So I have made this correction. So I hope you have understood up to here. We will discuss about all these things one by one, because these things will tell me that the glucose has this particular structure. We will discuss about the particular structure of glucose. So it is here presence of 5 OH groups. It will be 4 secondary OH groups and 1 primary OH group. So dear friends, I told you that Bayer has provided us with the open chain structure of glucose molecule. So how he has provided us with the particular structure of glucose molecule? We are talking about open chain structure. How we got to know that the glucose has this particular structure, which I mentioned there, okay? So let's have a look. First of all, he told us that there are some of the factors which we should know, and they will tell us that the glucose has this particular structure. The first factor is molecular formula, which he discussed. He told us that the molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. Now there will be a question that how come we know the molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6? Coming back to our topic, you might have read the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry, okay? And you have also read some principles, some basic principles and techniques in organic chemistry, chapter number 1, you might have read. If you think in case of the qualitative analysis and all, coming back to the some basic concepts of chemistry in PU first of all, the percentage of elements was given to you actually. Like they used to give you the percentage of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Then you were converting that into the masses. Then finally you were taking number of moles, that is mass divided by molar mass. Then you were dividing each term by the simplest number, okay, among all these number of molar terms you have. Finally you were reaching to the empirical formula, and later you used to derive the molecular formula. So that was a very big process of calculating the molecular formula. You have gone through that in the some basic concepts of chemistry, as well as in the some basic principles and techniques in organic chemistry, okay, through which we determine the molecular formula. So he applied those techniques and he determined the molecular formula of glucose as C6H12 and O6. Now second point, the presence of an aldehyde group. We know that our glucose molecule contains an aldehyde group, but we have to show it. The Bayer has to show it that it contains aldehyde group. So what are the reactions by which we will find out that it contains aldehyde group? So first of all, I will take those reactions. These two reactions will actually tell me that the aldehyde group, okay, present in the glucose, okay, Obviously it contains that carbonyl part. It's also known as carbonyl. These two reactions will tell me that the first reaction and this reaction, they will tell me that the glucose molecule contains carbonyl group. Carbonyl group means C double bond O. After this I will give you the reactions which will tell me that carbonyl group is the part of aldehyde. So let us understand first of all these two reactions. I am taking a glucose molecule, I am making it to interact with hydroxyl amine. NH2OH is known as hydroxyl amine. You can write down this hydroxyl amine in this way to understand the concept. Can I remove this here? I will write it like this. NH2OH like this. This is hydroxyl amine. This CO group, remember always, CO group is known as carbonyl group. Okay? This CO group, I'll mention here, when we talk of only CO group is considered to be as this part only I am talking about. This is known as, let me remove this hydrogen from here. This is known as carbonyl group. So this carbonyl group, CO group, will interact with hydroxyl amine. How does it interact? Have a look. This oxygen and these two hydrogens. Carbonyl group, CO group, will give me oxygen and hydroxyl amine will give me H2. So H2 and O will become minus H2O. So what is released? So who is interacting with hydroxyl amine? I'll call it as hydroxyl amine. This CO group is reacting with hydroxyl amine. It provides two hydrogen and it provides one oxygen. So now two hydrogen and one oxygen makes a water. So minus water means water is lost. Now after removing this oxygen, you can see carbon has how many bonds now? 1 and 2 bonds. So carbon can make 2 more bonds, correct? Because the valency of carbon is 4. After the removal of oxygen, carbon has only 2 bonds now. So it has to satisfy 2 more valencies, so it can make 2 more bonds after the removal of oxygen, correct? Now look here. Nitrogen can make 3 bonds, correct? But after losing 2 hydrogen, when this nitrogen loses 2 hydrogen, how many bonds are there? 1. So nitrogen can also make 2 bonds. Okay? And this carbon has lost oxygen and it has now only 2 bonds. So it can make 2 bonds. So here the valency is 2 of carbon now after the reaction. And the valency of nitrogen after losing 2 hydrogen is also 2. So now between carbon and nitrogen, there is a possibility of which bond? Double bond. Let me write down this hydrogen on this side. So now this carbon and nitrogen can make a double bond. Once again, oxygen is removed, carbon is left with 2 bonds, so it can make still 2 bonds. So valency is 2 now. After the removal of 2 hydrogens, nitrogen is with only 1 bond, so it can make 2 more bonds. Okay? Because nitrogen can make total 3 bonds. So now they make a double bond. And this particular molecule now is known as oxime. Now in this case, this reaction did not tell us anything about aldehyde. It has talked about CO group. This reaction tells us about CO group. And CO group means carbonyl group. So I will write down this reaction gives presence of carbonyl group. Carbonyl group means CO group. Because CO group is only interacting with hydroxyl amine. Let's come here to this side. Just focus it here. Now we have a glucose molecule once again. Okay. Now I am using hydrogen cyanide. Let me use plus here and here minus. If again the CO group is interacting with this molecule. How? This is the pi bond. Let me shift this pi bond here. It's minus here and it's here plus. So carbon has positive charge,
Correct? Let me mention it here like this now. Let me remove it for time being. Let me do one thing. Let me shift this bond. Now what is here now? CO. What's the charge here? Plus. What's the charge here? Minus. And then you have hydrogen. Cool? H plus will go and react with O minus. Correct? H plus will react with O minus. So it will become like this. Plus and minus will cancel. It's OH. Now C plus will react with Cn minus. So C plus will react with this one. C minus. And H plus will react with O minus. So OH, C plus reacts with Cn minus. So you'll get here Cn. Correct? Now this molecule is known as cyanohydrin. And this reaction also tells me about CO group. Because CO group is involved in this reaction also. CO group is known as carbonyl group. So I will write down here, this reaction gives presence of carbonyl group in glucose. Okay, so both these reactions are giving me the presence of carbonyl group in glucose molecule. Now, but my topic is presence of an aldehyde group. I have to talk about presence of an aldehyde group, but I am talking about the presence of CO group. Because here CO group is reacting, here also CO group is reacting and forming cyanohydrin. So let us come to the point where I can discuss the presence of an aldehyde group actually after these two reactions. I hope you have understood. So let me write down part B of this to make you understand that how aldehyde group is found. So part B. That will be like this. Have a look. I will take on the aldehyde molecule. I have to write it 4 times. And then you have CH2OH. This is our glucose molecule. So what I am going to use? I am going to use bromine water. Br2H2O. That is bromine water. And remember, this bromine water is a mild oxidizing agent. Mild oxidizing agent means neither too strong nor too weak. What is the role of this oxidizing agent? Bromine water, we call it as this one. It will oxidize the aldehyde. This guy is our aldehyde. Aldehyde will be oxidized to carboxylic acid. CHO will be converted into COOH. CHO will be converted into COOH, and that is called as oxidation. So what is happening here, my dear friends? What is happening here? Oxidation. Aldehyde is converted into carboxylic group. So aldehyde is converted into carboxylic group. I will write down the rest of the formula. This molecule is known as gluconic acid. You can have a look. This is known as carboxylic acid. So aldehydes, remember, aldehyde on oxidation gives me carboxylic acid. Remember, okay? Now look here, your glucose molecule is oxidized. Which part of glucose is oxidized? Aldehyde part. When aldehyde is oxidized, you will be getting carboxylic acid. And this entire molecule is known as gluconic acid. Now you will be thinking that here we have one oxygen and here we have two oxygens. Where from this extra oxygen has come? Have a look. If I take this bromine water, try to understand. I will take this bromine water. Br2 plus H2O. Two hydrogens will react with two bromine molecules. You will be getting 2 times HBr. And what is remaining here? Oxygen. This is our nascent oxygen. this oxygen will come here and will convert it into COOH, that is carboxylic acid. Now my dear friends, if you look right out here, I want to tell you something. Remember, one little idea I would like to give you. If you have, let us suppose this is your primary alcohol, let us suppose. If you have primary alcohol, okay, if you oxidize it, it will give you aldehyde, CHO, that is aldehyde. If you do oxidation of aldehyde, you will be getting carboxylic acid. This is carboxylic acid. And reduction will be reversed. This is just a little idea, I will explain it further. But here, this is our aldehyde group. It undergoes oxidation because that oxygen will come here and it will interact here and will change it into COOH. So our aldehyde is oxidized to carboxylic acid. So this is the oxidation reaction, correct? And what does it indicate? It indicates if it would have been alcohol, if this was alcohol, I would have gotten aldehyde, correct? But I know this is aldehyde, so I am getting carboxylic acid because aldehyde will change into carboxylic acid. You assume for few seconds, let us suppose this is not aldehyde, this is alcohol. Let us suppose this is alcohol, CH2OH. Then this will be converted into aldehyde. But for that you need a strong oxidizing agent, but this is a mild oxidizing agent. So it won't convert alcohol into what? Aldehyde. So what I am going to do, I have an aldehyde here. This one I am talking about. It will undergo oxidation and will change into carboxylic acid. So it changes into carboxylic acid. This is gluconic acid. Now this reaction tells me, this reaction gives presence of aldehyde. How it gives presence of aldehyde? Because aldehyde can be only oxidized to carboxylic acid in glucose molecule. Please make a note of this. So my dear friends, let me give you some little idea first of all so that we can understand these reactions. If you have an alkane, let's suppose, you can do oxidation of an alkane into alcohol. Let's suppose you can do its oxidation either into primary alcohol or secondary alcohol. Let us suppose we'll talk about primary alcohol here only. Let's suppose we have a primary alcohol here. Let's suppose we have RCH2OH, but this R group has to be hydrogen only. Let me write down here CH2OH. This is actually super primary alcohol. This is super primary alcohol. But if I want to make it as a primary alcohol, I can do like this, CH2 and CH3. This is our primary carbon, and primary carbon with OH group is known as primary alcohol. Now what's my point? Now this primary alcohol which I have here, I'll call it as primary alcohol. If I will do oxidation of this, what will happen? Alcohol, primary alcohol, remember primary alcohol will change into aldehyde, CH3. This CH2OH group will become CHO. It will lose 2 hydrogens, and loss of hydrogen is also oxidation, remember that thing. So you are getting an aldehyde group here, correct? So you got an aldehyde. If you do further oxidation of this, aldehyde will change into carboxylic acid. COOH group is known as carboxylic acid. If you do further oxidation of carboxylic acid, try to remember, you will be getting CH3, CO, 2 oxygens are here, so you will be getting here 3 oxygen atoms and H. This is known as peroxy carboxylic acid. So we are getting peroxy carboxylic acid. And if I do reverse of this, reverse means it will be reduction only. Let us suppose if I do reduction of peroxy carboxylic acid, I will get carboxylic acid. If I do reduction of carboxylic acid, I will get aldehyde. If I do reduction of aldehyde, I will be getting primary alcohol. If I do reduction of primary alcohol, I must get an alkane. So reverse is reduction. Correct? So let's have a look here. My dear friends, let us focus on our terminology here. Correct? Presence of one primary OH group, that is alcoholic group, in glucose molecule. Okay? So we are talking about glucose molecule. Let's have a look. We have a glucose molecule here. Try to understand. Previous time when I was discussing with bromine water was oxidizing the aldehyde into carboxylic group. Correct? Previous reaction. Aldehyde was oxidized to carboxylic acid. But your bromine water was the mild oxidizing agent. Okay? So it was not converting the primary alcoholic group into aldehyde. Yes? It was only attacking the aldehyde. You have seen the previous reaction. But if you look at the nitric acid, this is a strong oxidizing agent. It's a strong oxidizing agent. So what is going to do? This guy will surely attack aldehyde, and it will also attack the primary alcoholic group. This is your primary alcoholic group. Let me go little bit back. I want to show you something. Previous time I was having a glucose molecule with me, and this was here. Obviously it was primary alcoholic group. Primary alcoholic group. What I was doing, I was using a mild oxidizing agent, that was bromine water. Bromine water was only converting the aldehyde into carboxylic group. Try to understand. Primary alcoholic group was unaffected, no change, because this guy was the mild oxidizing agent, which means not too strong, not too weak, neither too strong nor too weak. So it was attacking only the aldehyde. It was oxidizing the aldehyde into carboxylic acid, but it was not attacking the primary alcoholic group. Primary alcoholic group was same, and I was converting the glucose into gluconic acid. But when it comes to concentrated HNO3, okay, this reaction takes a different turn now. What is that turn? Have a look. Concentrated nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It attacks aldehyde, and this guy also attacks the primary alcoholic group. Okay? Aldehyde will be oxidized to carboxylic acid. So aldehyde is oxidized. I will write down here. Oxidation. And this guy, this nitric acid, is a strong oxidizing agent. It will also attack the primary alcohol. It will attack the primary alcohol, and it's a strong oxidizing agent. So when primary alcohol is attacked, see here, when primary alcohol is attacked, means oxidation will happen. Okay? It will be first converted into aldehyde. First it will change into aldehyde. Then aldehyde will be converted into carboxylic acid. You can't reach to this stage, because for this stage we need extremely strong oxidizing agent. So you have to stop it here only. So that means primary alcohol can be also oxidized to carboxylic acid. First of all, it will be converted into aldehyde. From aldehyde, it will be converted into carboxylic acid. You can have a look here. Primary alcohol is converted into carboxylic acid. So what was in between them? In between was aldehyde. It will be first of all converted into aldehyde. From aldehyde, it will be converted into carboxylic acid. Correct? Now what does this reaction tell you? This reaction tells you that, first of all, aldehyde is there. That aldehyde is converted into carboxylic acid. That means aldehyde is there. But my topic is presence of one primary OH group. Okay? Look here, this is primary OH group. And these are 4 secondary OH groups. They are not being attacked. Only the primary OH group is attacked by concentrated nitric acid, and aldehyde is also attacked. So in both cases oxidation happens. Here the aldehyde is converted into carboxylic acid and primary alcohol is also converted into carboxylic acid, which means this molecule contains primary OH group which is converted into carboxylic acid. So how many carboxylic acids I have here? 2. So it's a dicarboxylic acid. Correct? Now what this reaction tells me? It tells me this reaction gives me presence of primary. How many primary are there? Presence of one primary OH group. And you can also tell it gives you the presence of aldehyde also, because aldehyde is also attacked. Now look here. In previous reaction, I got gluconic acid in previous reaction. Okay, when I was using bromine water. Correct? And if I use that gluconic acid here in this case also, you can look, the reaction is going in this direction. Don't talk of this direction, arrow is towards this. In place of glucose, if I take gluconic acid, which I have made in previous reaction, correct? This gluconic acid has which group here? This is primary OH group. This is already oxidized. This is carboxylic acid. It will remain carboxylic acid only. No further oxidation. Because you may be thinking that why don't you convert this into this pattern, CH3COO-CO3H per carboxylic acid, per oxycarboxylic acid. The reason is that this molecule is unstable. It's a peroxy substance. So no oxidation here because it's a carboxylic acid only. But this primary alcoholic group will be converted into carboxylic acid. So for this part only you will have oxidation. So now let me make you understand once again. If you take a glucose molecule in presence of concentrated HNO3, aldehyde group will be oxidized to carboxylic group and primary alcohol will be also oxidized to carboxylic group. So you have two carboxylic groups. It's known as saccharic acid or glucanic acid. But in place of glucose, my dear friends, if you take gluconic acid, which acid? Gluconic acid. What is going to happen? This part is already oxidized. In previous reaction I have done it with bromine water. Okay? So now this will not be further oxidized into peroxycarboxylic acid because this molecule is unstable. So it will remain like this only. No further oxidation because this guy is unstable. But this primary alcohol will be oxidized by concentrated nitric acid into carboxylic acid. So gluconic acid will also give me saccharic acid and the glucose will also give me saccharic acid. Here also primary alcohol is converted into carboxylic acid. Here also primary alcohol is converted into carboxylic acid, which gives us presence of primary OH group in the glucose molecule. So my dear friends, let's come to the one more point, that is straight chain. We have to here tell whether the glucose has a branched chain of carbon atoms or it has a straight chain, okay, a linear chain. We have to discuss about it. We have talked about molecular formula of glucose, then we have talked about the presence of carbonyl group and aldehyde group, and then we spoke about like presence of primary OH group also in the glucose molecule. Now we have to talk about the straight chain, whether the glucose has a straight chain or branched chain. So what we do, we will take a glucose molecule here. I have condensed this formula. This is actually 4 times here. Okay. In presence of hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus. Phosphorus has many allotrophic forms. Okay. Red phosphorus is there, violet phosphorus is there. Okay. So I am taking the red phosphorus here along with hydroiodic acid, or we can say hydrogen iodide. Clear? And we need some temperature here as well, 373 Kelvin. I told you yesterday what is the role of temperature. It gives kinetic energy to the molecules. So they reach to that a level of threshold, we call it as. Effective collisions, frequency increases, then reactants can change into the product. Okay. that we have discussed yesterday. Now what happens in presence of this particular substance? Remember, this guy is basically a reducing agent. So what is happening here? What will happen here? Reduction will happen. What will happen here? Reduction. Last time I told you something, if you remember. If you have remembered last time. Alkane on oxidation gives me alcohol, let's suppose. Let's suppose it gives me primary alcohol. Primary alcohol on oxidation will definitely give me aldehyde. It gives me aldehyde. Let me stop here, because if I make from aldehyde carboxylic acid, then per carboxylic acid or per oxycarboxylic acid we say, that is unstable. Let me come reverse. If I come reverse, aldehyde will be reduced to primary alcohol and primary alcohol will be reduced to alkane. So that's our point. Look here. Primary alcohol can be reduced to alkane. So we have here basically many other things, or we can tell one more thing also here, if you don't mind. Have a look. Even the aldehyde can be also reduced to alkane. First of all, aldehyde will be reduced to alcohol, then alcohol will be reduced to alkane. That means this aldehyde, if this reducing agent is strong, then it has to be strong. Okay? This aldehyde will be first of all converted into alcohol. It will be reduced to alcohol. Then this alcohol, primary alcohol, will be reduced to alkane. Correct? Same thing will happen to these alcohols also. Clear? So they will be also reduced to alkane. So aldehyde is reduced finally to alkane, and these alcoholic groups will be also reduced to alkane. Now there is a point. These are not, this is primary, but these are secondary alcohols. Even the secondary alcohols will be also reduced to alkane. Remember that thing. Okay? So have a look here, but for this thing I want to tell you something here. Let us suppose if I have let's suppose I have a ketone here. Then I will be saying like this. Which alcohol will be there? Secondary alcohol, let's suppose. And I have an alkane here, correct? Alkane on oxidation can give also secondary alcohol. Secondary alcohol on oxidation can give ketone, not aldehyde. Then ketone on reduction will give secondary alcohol. And secondary alcohol on reduction will give alkane. That means here we have secondary alcohol. This will undergo reduction and I can get alkane. Okay, this is primary alcohol. Primary alcohol also on reduction gives alkane. Secondary alcohol on reduction gives alkane. So this part will also give me alkane. So now you can look here. I am getting an alkane here. Who is this alkane? N-hexane is basically N-alkane. And one more additional product I am getting, which is not mentioned in your book actually. They have only mentioned N-hexane in NCERT book. They have not mentioned this compound. So it's up to you whether you want to mention this compound or not. Okay? But just let's focus on N-hexane. You can have a look. Is it alkane or not? That means aldehyde has been converted into alkane, alkane and alkane. But all together I want to say, these are not three alkanes actually. This is only one alkane, because all these all these groups are present in the same molecule, which means I will be getting just one alkane, because aldehyde, secondary alcohol and primary alcohol, they are all present in same molecule, correct? So I got N-hexane. Now you can see the structure, it's linear, so straight chain, which indicates that glucose is a straight chain molecule. All the carbon atoms in glucose are attached in a straight chain. If these carbon atoms are not attached in a straight chain, then I would have gotten a structure like this, something like this. But I didn't get like this. I got the linear chain, which means all the carbon atoms in glucose molecule are attached in a linear chain. Now my dear friends, I will write down glucose on reduction gives N-hexane, okay, in presence of HI and red phosphorus, which indicates that all carbon atoms in glucose are attached, we can see are arranged in linear order, are arranged in linear order. I hope you have understood. And we are getting one more product also, that is 2-iodohexane. This will also tell you, you forget about this iodo part. Just have a look at carbon atoms. They will also tell you that all the carbon atoms in the glucose molecule are basically linear. That's why you are getting these kind of structures. But you mainly focus on N-hexane pattern. So my dear friends, let's talk about the final point, which will tell us the presence of 5 OH groups. And remember, the 5 OH groups here means out of 5 OH groups, you know that you will be having 4 secondary OH groups and secondary alcoholic groups, and 1 will be primary alcoholic group. That you all know, which I have discussed. So I will be talking about all the 5 OH groups, their presence. Have a look. You have an aldehyde here in the glucose molecule. Now let me open up the structure, which is quite required here. Okay. So I will open up the structure in this way, or I can either write it in this format, or I can open up the entire thing. Okay. If you want me to write down it in condensed form, I can write down like this only, not an issue. So let us have a look here. The final is, this is our glucose molecule. Glucose molecule. So what I am going to do, how do I determine the presence of 5 OH groups in a glucose molecule? We are doing a process called as acetylation. And what is that? We are taking here acetic anhydride. Have a look. We have here CH3CO whole twice O. This is known as acetic anhydride. And I do take this 5 times because I know that I am supposed to show the presence of 5 OH groups. So I need 5 times this particular molecule. It's known as acetic anhydride. Anhydride. Clear? This reaction takes place in a basic medium, so we use a base called as pyridine or pyridine, you can say, it's your choice. Now, these 4 OH groups and this one, primary OH group and secondary 4 OH groups, they will lose H. H means hydrogen. They will give H+, this will also give H+. So how this reaction takes place, let us understand this entire thing. Can I open up this particular structure to make you understand what you are getting right up here? Let me write down first of all the product. Later I will teach you that how it is formed. It's basically, if it loses hydrogen, it will lose 4 hydrogens and it will lose 1 hydrogen. Then from this point of view, we will be getting CH3O will be getting. So you'll be having here, O already is here. So we are getting from outside CH3O from this part. CH3CO we are getting. CH3CO we are getting. But how many times I will be getting it? Here 4 times. And for this also, if I make it to lose 1 hydrogen, here also I will be getting it. CH2O, then C-double-bond-O and CH3. So total how many times I am getting this CH3CO? 4 and 1. 5 times. So CH3CO I have here. How many times I have this? 5 into 2, 10 times I have, but I'm getting it 5 times here. This molecule is known as glucose pentaacetate or pentaacetate glucose, you can say. Pentaacetate, glucose pentaacetate. And the process is known as acetylation. And along with that, you'll be getting 5 times acetic acid. So you'll be getting acetic acid. Now the point here is that let us understand it in detail now. I hope you got the idea, so let us understand it in detail. How does it happen? Some little idea I would like to give you. Have a look. COH, H, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon. Then you have CH2OH. Here we have OH. On third carbon we have OH group on left side. H, H, H and H. Try to understand. Everywhere I need to break this bond. I need to break this bond. So OH bond I need to break. So how many OH groups I have? 5 OH groups. So I will break this bond actually from the glucose. For that I need acetic anhydride. How is acetic anhydride? It's like this. CH3, C double bond O, then you have O, C double bond O and CH3. CH3CO, CH3CO 2 times and then one oxygen outside. Written like this. CH3CO twice, CH3CO, CH3CO twice and one oxygen outside. This is acetic anhydride. So let's have a look. If I remove these hydrogen atoms, but I will take it how many times? 5 times. You should remember that. What I'm going to do, I will break it like this. You have CH3CO here. I need these groups only. Try to understand. I need these 5 groups. How many groups I have? CH3CO? 5 groups. So I will give one group here. Okay. I will remove one hydrogen from here. So if I eliminate one hydrogen from here, one hydrogen from here, one hydrogen from here, and one hydrogen from here, I can give these hydrogens to this part. Okay. And these parts I will add on here, 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 here and here. So 5 times I'll add on here. So let me show you. You have H here, H, H and H. So let me do it here. So let's do it a little fast. CHO. Let's come to the second carbon. We have here second carbon. What is here now? OH. So here I will remove one H. This H I will remove. So what will remain here? CO. And for this CO I will use CH3CO, this part. So it will be coming like this. Like this. CH3CO. Cool. Here also I will give CH3CO and I will remove this hydrogen. This hydrogen also. So I will be getting here third carbon. This side I will be getting COCH3. Cool. And here we have H. Here I will be getting O. And this hydrogen I am also removing and giving CH3CO. So it will come like this. OCH3. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and this one is 5th now. Oh, I will remove this H also. So in place of that I will be giving one more COCH3 and then I have H here. Here also I will remove this H and give it to this side. So you will be having CH2O, C double bond O, CH3. Now have a look. Cool. Now you can understand. Cool. This is the reaction. And this molecule now is basically called as glucose pentaacetate. This is glucose pentaacetate. Clear? Now, how many hydrogens I have removed from here? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Do you think 5 hydrogens I have removed? Yes. These 5 hydrogens will come here with this molecule, with this part. How many times is this part? CH3COO. How many times? 5 times. So I have here CH3COO. How many times? This is also 5 times. CH3COO. How many times, guys? 5 times. And how many hydrogens are coming out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hydrogens I have put here. So that's here. How many times? 5 times. And this is known as acetic acid. Now what does this reaction tell me? How many OH groups are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 OH groups are there. They have reacted with acetic anhydride and have given me glucose pentaacetate. This process is known as acetylation, and it takes place in presence of, as I told you, a base known as pyridine. It takes place in presence of a base known as pyridine. So it takes place in basic medium. Now this is our glucose molecule. What does this reaction tell me? This reaction gives us the presence of 5 OH groups in a glucose molecule. This is all for today. I hope you have understood. Tomorrow we will start with the limitations of the open chain structure of glucose. Okay? Have a good time. Yo-yo.